On this episode of In the Fight, we get a rare first-person perspective of combat on the front lines in Afghanistan. Third Army ARCENT facilitates the largest logistical movement since World War II. Afghan forces take charge of security in the city of Mazar. In Kandahar, Marines light the way for troops on the ground. And a young woman gets to live her dream of being a soldier. Divids presents In the Fight. Marines are continually engaging in firefights with the Taliban on a daily basis throughout Afghanistan. During one such firefight, the camera was rolling and Marine Lance Corporal Jacob Lagos gave us this rare look at combat on the front lines.
It's an early morning in Kajaki, Afghanistan. A platoon of Marines with 1st Battalion, 6th Marine Regiment are awakened by the sound of mortars impacting their position near the Helmand River. Patrol base, Georgetown. Without time to fully dress, the Marines rush outside to engage the enemy.
Like, gets you out of nowhere. I'm in a sleeping bag still. So, all of a sudden you hear the flare going off, RPG, then fires just start going off.
Everybody throws gear on, runs out. We get our positions established, and squad leaders take control. Just to the northwest of us, across the Helmand River, they have a ridge line up there, and there's caves in the ridge line that they'll crawl into, and they engage us from there.
IDF, and then 30 mics hitting. It just got really bad real quick. When we started going Winchester, started losing ammo. By the time, like, after a couple hours, we were like, probably had 100 still left for 50 cal, and that was it.
Reloading! Hey, good shot right here, get it, get it! Sniper! Hey, we took a round right there, good shot!
IDF 30mm grenades hitting inside the compound, getting close, real close. I mean, we took a casualty, took a couple casualties. You hear about people being battle tested. This one tested the boys.
We're still taking indirect. We're still taking small arms. We have to get him on the bird as fast as possible. It's the only place. We have to be fast. All right?
Been one hell of a day. I mean, you're thinking, yeah, regular patrol, any other day. It ain't happening that way. I mean, I definitely teach a lot of people, like, everyone's got to be ready from now on. I mean, you never know what's going to happen from now on. We lost one person, injuries. I mean, who knows what's going to happen next. We still got some time left. Hopefully whoever sees this will actually notice what actually happens. I mean, at the end of the day, we're the ones out here fighting this fight and then just breaking hearts sometimes.
Another day, man. Another day.
The U.S. withdrawal from Iraq is the largest logistical movement of equipment, vehicles, and personnel since World War II. Army Staff Sergeant Ashley Torres shows us how 3rd Army ARCENT is executing this daunting task.
Kuwait never sits. It's always moving. here at Camp Virginia 3rd Army Arsenal is there. Starting with the Redistribution Property Assistance Team. Here, soldiers unload so they can load up and go home. That's where Sergeant First Class David Parthamore comes in.
We do that by assisting the units and those company commanders in clearing the theater-provided equipment that you see behind me, and pushing those units into the mini gateway, meeting their strategic airlift time, and then flying home to redeploy and reunite with their families.
Lieutenant Colonel William Corson convoyed 24 hours. His soldiers were the last to leave Victory Base Complex.
I actually went perfect. It was the quickest run we had to Kalsu, I think, in the 4 or 5 months we were here. No issues, pretty smooth. It seems like a good plan put together.
The drawdown in Iraq is the largest logistical movement since World War II.
We're talking thousands of vehicles and tens of thousands of pieces of non-rolling stock.
That's the equipment that comes off of the vehicles, gets separated, repackaged, and shipped back to the U.S.
First ESC, the 364th ESC, RPAC Command Cell, is here to provide an efficient and effective self-redeployment process across the CENTCOM AOR.
The operation here at Virginia is a deliberate process that was set up in order to allow the last remaining soldiers to force protection in order to roll out of Kuwait and then be relieved of their accountability of their property once they got here, because that equipment was needed up until the last days up in Iraq.
This process supports our commitment to the Iraqi government and the agreement to have all troops out by the end of December. Always first, Patton's own Sergeant Ashley Torres, 3rd Army Arsenal.
It's Fireman Dylan Lamone, U.S. Coast Guard, stationed Manama, Bahrain, Patrol Forces Southwest Asia. Just want to say hi to all my friends and family in Detroit, Michigan. See you guys home soon.
Hi, this is HN Quincy McAllister giving a shout out from Afghanistan to my family back in Richmond, Virginia. To my beautiful mom, I love you, I miss you. To my dad, I love you, Dad, keep your head up. And to my beautiful wife, Anna Maria, I love you and I'll be home soon.
Hi, I'm Private First Class Van Dyne, stationed out of Fort Hood, Texas, in Kuwait right now. Just wanted to give a shout out to my friends and family back home in Goshen, Connecticut. Hope to see you soon.
Hi, this is Sergeant Andrea Whitley from Hugo, Minnesota, stationed here at Camp Arif John, Kuwait. And I'd like to say hi to my dad in South St. Paul, Minnesota, and my aunt and uncle in Shoreview, Minnesota.
Hi, it's Lance Corporal James Wilcox from Camp Leatherneck, Afghanistan. Just want to give a shout out to my mom, my family back home in Alice, Texas. Just want to say I love you and I miss y'all, and I'll see you soon.
Coming up, Afghan forces take charge of security in the city of Mazar. And Marines light the way for troops on the ground. Check out dvidshub.net for the latest accurate and reliable information as In the Fight continues. Who wrote the Pledge of Allegiance in 1892? The answer when we return.
I want to give a shout out to my family and friends.
I want to send a shout out to my husband,
to my parents, my family back home.
I'd like to give a shout out to my girlfriend.
To my family and friends in Lansing, Michigan.
To my family out in Tucson, Arizona.
To my beautiful wife and children in Des Moines, Iowa.
To everybody in Texas.
In York, Pennsylvania.
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Chicago, Illinois.
Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Orlando, Florida. Oceanside, California.
And Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
I love you guys, I miss you, and I hope I'll see you soon.
With the new Military 24/7 app from Divots, you turn your favorite mobile device into a window to the front lines. Connect with your nation's finest men and women through our video and photography archives and stay up to date with news reported directly from service members. Quickly share information and breaking stories with friends via Facebook, Twitter, or email. News, photos, video. Your military 24/7.
wrote the Pledge of Allegiance in 1892? The answer is A, Francis Bellamy. Since July, Afghan forces have been fully in charge of security in the city of Mazar, with ISAF forces only operating in a supporting role. NATO Channel correspondent Ruth Owen talks to locals on the streets to get their thoughts on security in the city.
The famous Blue Mosque of Mazar-e Sharif is an attraction for people all over Afghanistan to this northern city. But as well as its cultural heritage, the city is a hub for business from Central Asia and is the first Afghan terminus for the new train line from Uzbekistan. But the city's latest success has been its security, taken wholly by Afghan forces.
از وقتی که نیروهای خارجی از اینجا برآمده، همه نیروهای مردم خود ما بسیار خوب امنیت به عهده گرفته و جمعیت بسیار راضی هستیم. رویه بسیار خوب میکنن همراه ما.
توانمندی ما بالای اردی ما خوب است که اردی ما امنیت میگیرن، مخصوصا دفاع شمال.
Mazar was one of the first cities in Afghanistan to transition to Afghan control of security in March this year. Since then, the city has been relatively calm, although there have been some high-profile attacks, such as one on a UN building and its staff during a demonstration in April. However, although there is still insurgent activity in the wider province of Balkh, the police chief says they've led several successful operations and stopped a large number of attacks.
در جریان یک ماه و 25 روزی که از روز انتقال صورت گرفته میگذرد ما توانستیم که عملیات‌های بسیار موفقانه‌ای داشته باشیم. گروه‌هایی را دستگیر کردیم که یک گروه قوی انتحاری و تروریستی که در داخل شهر جابجا بودن و در اطراف شهر که می‌خواستن حملات را تنظیم کنه یک جا.
Once the whole province comes under Afghan control in the second phase of transition, the security forces will tackle the pockets of insurgency that come in from neighboring provinces to shelter from Afghan and ISAF operations against them, leaving them no place to hide.
احتمال از زمانی که وجا عملیات‌های تسبیحی صورت می‌گیرد و فرار می‌کند در ولایت ما جابجا می‌شود. ما کارهایی را روی دست یک جا با نیروهای بین المللی قوای ایساف داریم. ما امیدوار هستیم که با یک هماهنگی خوبی که ما داریم بتانیم همین تشویشایی که در پیش روی ما هستند و آمادگی برای مرحله دوم انتقال باید داشته باشیم. چیزی که مربوط به ما هستند او را با وجه حسن اجرا کنیم.
But taking the security for a whole province is very different from a single city. It's clear there are still challenges ahead for the Afghan forces, and the insurgents will take every chance to attempt to try and discredit their ability. This is Ruth Owen in Afghanistan for the NATO channel.
Building an independent and strong Afghanistan relies heavily on building relationships with the people. Petty Officer Brandon Sheelander introduces us to a provincial reconstruction team, where after years of growing relationships, integrating with the locals comes naturally.
This simple garden, tended by local Afghans, has become a natural part of forward operating base Finley Shields, the same way the military and civilians here have become a part of the local community.
We try to be as natural and professional in our relationship, not only with the formal government here in Nangarhar, but with all the people of the province and this city, Jalalabad, where we live and work.
The FOB is home to the Provincial Reconstruction Team for Nangarhar Province. Their mission, to improve the confidence community members have in their own regional government. But the real progress here is seen through the attitude of the citizens.
We regularly, every day, any day you come here, you will see maliks and mullahs and elders and parliamentarians and others coming to our FOB. They have no hesitation. They come, they meet, they like to come and talk with us. And it's not just because of the influence that we still wield in the province, but because they're very comfortable coming here.
Just the simple act of asking someone how they're doing can impact the future of Afghanistan. PRT members understand this and go out of their way to connect with their neighbors.
PRT Nangarhar, the compound was built in the middle of a residential neighborhood, so historically we have been very well connected with the people of Afghanistan, because you can walk out the front gates and there's kids on either side of the gate as soon as you walk out. So that definitely helps.
It makes you feel not only welcome as a foreigner, and we are foreigners here, but they make us feel welcome, and we feel very comfortable working together side by side to help them build their country.
This simple garden is a testament to the cooperative relationship between the Afghan community and the PRT. It was a gift from the Afghans, a way to say thank you for the continued support of the region. Petty Officer Brandon Sheelander, Jalalabad, Afghanistan.
For many people, when the sun goes down, it's time to call it a day. But for some in Afghanistan, the mission continues. Marine Corporal Kevin Maynard takes us to Kandahar, where a group of Marines lights the way for troops on the ground.
The Marines of Marine Aerial Refueler Transport Squadron 252, or VMGR 252, prepare for a night mission. Ordnance Marines load a KC-130J aircraft with illumination flares and prep for takeoff. Their mission is to help ground forces in southern Afghanistan see the enemy in the dark.
We illuminate the battlefield. One of the tasks that we do is we provide illumination via flares. We send flares out of the back of the aircraft, and we can either send out small quantities, large quantities, whatever the folks need. What we typically do is we support the Marines on the ground. It can be a battalion that calls in requesting for illumination on the battlefield, or it can be helicopters or other aircraft that may require illumination on the battlefield to cover ingress, egress, or if they just want to get better eyes on a certain target.
The pilots up front get the aircraft to the right place at the right time and give the order for Marines in the back to carry out the mission.
It consists of taking different kinds of flares, either overt or covert flares, moving them from the box into the chute, and then dispensing them on the aircraft commander's command so that we can support the mission on the ground. That's going to help the Marines and the other service members on the ground to see the enemy better. They're going to get better depth perception, better color perspective of where the enemy is at, so that they can effectively attack them while keeping themselves safe.
Different aspects of the Marine Corps come together to help the security of Afghanistan. Marine Corporal Kevin Maynard, Southern Afghanistan.
Hello, I'm Petty Officer Fox, assigned to the U.S. Coast Guard's Patrol Forces Southwest Asia. I'd like to give all my family and friends back in Lively, Virginia a shout out. Love you. See y'all soon.
My name is Corporal Colton McCullough, Flagstaff, Arizona, out here at the MSC Detachment Baghdad, Iraq. Just want to make a shout out to my mom, my dad, and my girlfriend Caroline. Love you all, and I'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm Tech Sergeant Philip Chapman from the 386 Air Expeditionary Wing. Just want to give a shout out to my beautiful wife, Melissa, back at Eglin Air Force Base, and my family and friends back in Paducah, Kentucky.
My name is First Lieutenant Sylvester Ezab over at Task Force Warehouse and Camp Nathan Smith. I want to give a shout out to my wife, Martha, my mom, Hannah, and my brothers and sisters over there in Colorado Springs. Hey, I love you all, and I'll see you all home soon. Goodbye.
Coming up, a young woman gets to live her dream of being a soldier. And we'll showcase some of the best photos from our service members as In the Fight, presented by Divots, continues. Which president gave the executive order to end segregation in the military? The answer when we return.
With the new Military 24/7 app from Divots, you turn your favorite mobile device into a window to the front lines. Connect with your nation's finest men and women through our video and photography archives and stay up to date with news reported directly from service members. Quickly share information and breaking stories with friends via Facebook, Twitter, or email. News, photos, video. Your military 24/7.
Which president gave the executive order to end segregation in the military? The answer is D, Harry S. Truman. Coalition forces often use patrols to secure villages and, in some cases, entire districts. Petty Officer Eric Holmes takes us on a unique patrol that pushed a group of soldiers to the limit in this report.
Soldiers from 1st Platoon, Delta Company, 22 Infantry Battalion, and the Afghan National Army patrolled the villages of Kotzai and Marmar Wall. For 36 hours, these infantrymen searched houses Taliban insurgents may forcefully use as weapon caches and hideouts. The soldiers asked about the condition of the villages and about the Taliban. Learning the insurgents continue to use intimidation to hide from coalition forces and take what they want from local people.
We come here to keep the Taliban out and learn as much as we can about them so that we can set up our own ambushes, learn their patterns so that we can help defeat them and push them out of the area and keep the people safe.
During the 2 days of American presence, the insurgents fled the villages, watching the soldiers from a distance, but never engaging in combat.
We've kept the Taliban out of these villages for these couple of days we've been out here. They're going to be more reluctant to come back to these villages, knowing that we come here more often.
The troops gathered information, kept insurgents out of the villages, and had no personal losses in a typically dangerous area. Delta Company said the mission, though long, was an overall success. Petty Officer Eric Holmes, Marmar Wall, Afghanistan.
Kentucky may be a world away from Afghanistan, but it's not far enough to stop the bluegrass state from sending their support to an all-girls school. Air Force Staff Sergeant Shannon Ofiara brings us this story.
It's another day of classes at Nasaji Golbahar Girls' School, and almost everyone is tucked away into some room or another concentrating on their studies. Nothing out of the ordinary. Until soldiers from the Kentucky National Guard's Agribusiness Development Team show up with some new school supplies.
Thank you. Because they take such pride already in going to school. So, you know, just giving them a pen and a notebook to them, it may say, hey, somebody actually cares if I go to school and get my education.
It's not just these soldiers who care. The supplies came from their friends and family back in Kentucky, where they held donation drives and fundraisers across the state, all to encourage education.
Because of education, someone is going to be a president, but they won't be without education. Education is very important for this country and the government.
According to the U.S. State Department, girls make up 37% of the students in Afghan schools. It's an increase from a decade ago, but it's still less than half of the student population.
Our society is male-dominated. I want this mindset to change and society to value women more.
No amount of school supplies can erase the past, but pens and notebooks may be all these girls need to write their own future. Air Force Staff Sergeant Shannon Ofiara, Kapisa Province, Afghanistan.
Many Americans are unable to serve in the military due to health reasons. But thanks to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, a Texas teen with cystic fibrosis was able to make her dream come true. Fort Jackson's Mike Glash brings us this story.
Support and defend. The Constitution of the United States.
For 13-year-old Alyssa Braden, being sworn into the U.S. Army has been a dream of hers for the last 6 years.
My uncle was in the Army and it inspired me to be in the Army.
It was a dream Alyssa thought would never happen because she suffers from cystic fibrosis, a disease that attacks the lungs.
And I wanted to be a hero, and I can't do that whenever I'm older. Like whenever I'm 18, I can't be enlisted in the Army.
Thanks to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Alyssa's wish of becoming a soldier came true, if only for a few days.
We've been working on this for 13 months to try to kind of get this going, and they worked really hard with Alyssa to figure out what her true wish was. So it's just amazing how much trouble everybody goes through to make this happen.
Over a 4-day period, Alyssa experienced a little of what basic combat training soldiers go through on their transformation from civilians to soldiers.
She's a remarkable young woman. You know, she was pretty tired this whole way, but she still got up every morning, and she went from being really shy, really not soft, really soft-spoken, to now she really talks to anyone. You've seen her really confidence level just shoot up.
While Alyssa wasn't able to participate in every training event on her schedule, there was one daunting task she was determined to overcome, rappelling down the 40-foot wall of Victory Tower. She did so while being encouraged by current soldiers in training.
Drill Sergeant Lewis, she talked me through while I was going down. I felt good that I did it.
We serve our country, but to really help a young lady fulfill her lifelong dream, I think that's outstanding.
To wrap up her experience, Alyssa was honored during a BCT graduation where the Army Gold Knights made a special appearance and Alyssa received the Commander's Award for Public Service. Alyssa added she not only learned the physical demands it takes to become a soldier, but the values it takes as well, especially personal courage.
I did everything. I know I won't give up ever again.
Mike Glash, Fort Jackson Public Affairs Office.
DVIDS is a 24/7 operation that provides a timely, accurate, and reliable connection between the media and the military serving worldwide. Through a network of over 200 portable satellite transmitters around the globe and a distribution hub in Atlanta, Georgia, DVIDS gives you access to the front lines with live and archived broadcast video, still imagery, and print products. Visit our website at dvidshub.net and search through our enormous video and photo library. Register on our website to gain complete access to high-definition content, along with breaking news alerts and webcasts from top military officials. For questions or comments about In the Fight or DVIDS, you can email us at ondemand@dvidshub.net or follow us on Twitter and Facebook. As we close, we feature some of the best photos that DVIDS has to offer, as we listen to Eddie Horst's composition, Pangea. See you next time, In the Fight.